Hey, welcome. We'll be starting real soon here. Being it's noon, I know your time is important, so thanks again. A couple more people came in the room. Boy, this is great. So we'll be talking about electronic shelf labels, also known as ESLs, and how they can help you run your business. Just a couple of housekeeping things here. I've turned all your mics off, so you can talk all you want, but you'll be talking to yourself. But you can ask questions. There should be a chat box. It's over there on the right-hand side of the screen. You should be able to ask questions. Go ahead and ask them anytime you wish, and we'll do our best to answer it. If not, we'll get back with the group later if we can't answer them. So let's get started. Okay, the agenda for today, we're going to talk about what ESLs are, why retailers of all sorts are using ESLs, the different types of ESLs. Like anything else, there's many different kinds of ESLs out there. Who's using them? I should say some of the people, some of the businesses that are using them, and how you can get them. What's involved, give you an idea of pricing. I'm sure that's something that you guys are interested in. So your presenters we have here, we have me, Mark Turner. I started with American Retail in, 1981. So that was many, many moons ago, to say the least. I was going to be an aircraft mechanic, but ended up being a bagman. So I guess that's not a bad thing. But I just love my job most of the time, helping small retailers run their business, getting to know people. I have relationships with a lot of my customers. Some of them are spouses or, children of the people that started it. And then we have Madon. He's the VP of Business Development here at American Retail. He's a great guy, very knowledgeable, very passionate about the small retailer, the brick and mortar retailer growing their business, and knowledgeable, has a lot of expertise in technology relating to business and management consulting as well.
Hi guys, thanks Mark.
So just a little brief history of American Retail for you guys that don't know. We were started in 1970. In the back of a green, I think it was a green Ford station wagon, as I recall, by a gentleman named Dick Thompson. Dick's a great man. Actually, I was on my honeymoon last summer, and I saw Dick. He's on Orcas Island. We're dedicated to serving you, the independent retailer. That's our thrust. That's our business. We have some very large national accounts, as well as many independent retailers. We're a leader in retail technology, packaging, in fixtures, like it says, and we're here to take care of you. And if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. So more than just selling your product, we want to use our expertise into helping you grow your business. Brief history of how electronic shelf labels came into being in an American Retail Supply. At least longer than I've been with the company, in 1981, we've been looking at ways to help retailers keep current with the technology and do things that can grow their business. In 1974, UPC barcodes came out. And before I started with the company, we sold a price marking gun. It was a mechanical price marking gun that shot out a UPC label. Then, and I think it was 87, as I recall, we started selling the first MS-DOS based, it was a point of sale system, MS-DOS based before Windows came out, before Windows 3.1 came out, one of the very first point of sales for the independent retailer. It was called the Smart Retailer. And actually, I have some customers that I talked to the other day that are still using that program. That's rather amazing. But now talking about ESLs, in 2015, I think it was, started looking at these little things and thought, wow, that's pretty cool technology. You know, that's something that our customers need. It's something retailers would need to be able to react quickly to the the changes, be able to change prices quickly. So we started to look into them and see what they're all about. Thought that, wow, retailers need that. So as with any other product, there are many manufacturers. Some are good, some not so good. We decided to sell the labels by a company called Display Data. Very great company to work with. They've been in business nearly 20 years now, and they do ESLs. We strongly believe it's the best ESL there is in the market these days. We could have sold most any of them because we have a very loyal and good client base, but we did decide on Display Data. Madan, help me here, but I believe we decided on them because of the quality of the display and the customer service that they have.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think, thanks, Mark. I think one of the things we're really passionate about retail business over here at American Retail Supply, as you can tell from Mark's history and the company history, and especially focused on brick and mortar business. We believe it is there are few key pillars which are going to be really, really critical for the success of brick and mortar business. And as we study more and more and deep, we think ESLs are going to be one of the key pillars for future retail store. And we believe when we were looking at 2015, we looked at so many different areas and so many different options out there. But with the evolution of technology, which Mark will kind of dive more into the presentation, we found that what technology Display Data is using right now is the time for the US market, especially for our customers. We believe right now is the time for us to introduce it to them, and we are right on the rising curve of the adoption of this technology. And I think that's gonna be really, really good for brick and mortar that we are really passionate about.
Well, thank you, Madan. Thank you much. So here we have a brief kind of stand back and take a look of what an ESL system consists of. The mind, body, and soul of your Display Data ESL system. The mind of the ESL system is the dynamic central software. It's a piece of software which you would be able to design what's on the label, and you're able to tell what label displays what information. You can put a bunch of information, many different items on the label. That's all done through the dynamic central software. If you wish, you can have the dynamic central software. It can communicate with your point of sale. That's really good. So you change the price on your point of sale, it changes on the labels. You can also have dynamic central talk to or work with your social media, so you can have up-to-date reviews on your labels, with your manufacturer's data, so you can have their extended descriptions, their technical jargon, different things like that from the manufacturer. That would be working with Dynamic Central. Then Dynamic Central sends that information to a true Windows server. A PC isn't going to work, doesn't have the power, but a true Windows server. We can take care of that for you. If you don't have a Windows server, it's not a problem. We'll do a virtual server on the cloud. So then the server, once it's on the server, it then talks to this communicator. Communicator is an amazing piece of technology. You can also call it a router. I guess maybe a router is a more common word for it. But this router or this communicator can do 200,000 labels over 50,000 square feet. So it's a small little box that's a big, powerful piece of equipment. Well, then using a low frequency RF Wi-Fi, it communicates with, you guessed it, soul of the ESL system, which are your labels themselves. Your labels themselves, one of the many things I really like about Display Data labels is the brightness and the sharpness and how easy it is to see the labels. We'll go into that a little bit deeper later in the webinar, but that is the soul of any ESL system. Now, the benefits of ESLs are huge. There are a lot of different benefits for ESLs. We're going to delve into that deeper in subsequent webinars, but I wanted to highlight two of my favorite benefits to ESLs. If you choose, which most people eventually do, to have your ESLs talk to your point of sale, is you're going to have 100% accurate pricing. No more will you be like this lady here, where she saw on the, I think that lady was in front of me at Safeway the other day, where a price on the shelf did not reflect the price at the point of sale. Not only did I hear it, these other people heard it, and it was kind of a turnoff. Because right now, with paper labels, I look at it as a wall, and I guess a door that's closed and locked between the point of sale and the shelf. So you get a price change, you increase price, decrease price. Well, you have to print out the labels, and then you go and lock the door, you walk out, the guy has this tag that he tries to put on the shelf or your price marking gun, and having those two separate like that increases your chances of having the wrong price ring up on the register that was on the shelf. Well, that's not going to happen. With an ESL system, that door is kicked in, that wall is removed. You change the price before you can see lickety split, it changes on the label. So that eliminates those problems. Another big benefit is a labor savings. So you can reallocate your employees. Instead of walking around the place with these little tags or taking the price marking gun and changing the prices, whatever, you don't have to worry about that. You change it on the point of sale, it changes on the label, on the label. So don't have to worry about being out of stock as often, because your employees aren't going to be changing prices. They're going to be restocking the shelves. Dirty floor, they're going to be cleaning the floor, not changing labels, mainly helping customers. We'll share information with you later on Planet Retail. They're a fantastic organization. They had an interesting study that up to 3%, between 2.5% and 3% of gross revenue are the operational cost for changing labels. Is that right, Madan? Where if you did $100,000 in business a month, $3,000 is to change these labels.
Yes, Mark. And this study, when Mark found out about that study and we discussed more about it, it was amazing that what we found was that this operational cost includes the hardware, the material cost, the labor cost, and especially we were amazed by the fact that a lot of retailers or store owners like us, the business owners, will employ store associates over time on these, and give over time to do such activities, which is such an amazing thing. When we read about it, and it kind of started jiving in and started making sense that 2.5% to 3% of your sales or the retailer sales is actually goes into that cost.
And another thing that I didn't even think about is the overtime. You're paying somebody maybe overtime to do that, or if you think, well, I don't pay somebody, I do that myself. Well, is your time more valuable than walking around putting labels on products, and labels that might not be accurate because you might put the wrong label by the wrong product, or it doesn't get done? So it will save you money and better be able to serve your customer. Those are the two main, I don't want to say the two main benefits, but they're the two benefits I wanted to highlight to you today. So here, the price changes and more, even big promotions, are what's really exciting. What's one of the great things about this point of sale not point of sale, this ESL system. So what we're going to do here is we're going to watch a brief video on the ESLs that goes over a lot of things we're talking about today. So hope you enjoy, hope you brought your popcorn, and we'll be back to you shortly. Just enjoy the.
We need to have that talk. That one about in-store pricing. We know. It's not an easy subject. It takes ages to do. It ties up your staff, and the number of pricing changes you can do is limited by the amount of time they have free. It gives you headaches. And all the while, online competitors can change prices at a clickety-click. Faster, in fact, than you can say, markdown. And there's more. It makes customers unhappy when a price on the shelf's different to the one on their phone. When you think about it, really think about it, there's got to be a better way. Here it is, the electronic shelf label. It helps you better manage your inventory, quickly launch promotions, and remotely implement your pricing strategy on every shelf, everywhere, in seconds. Looks good, right? Ours are fully graphic and come in 3 colors too, with red, black and paper white, or yellow, black and paper white to highlight promotions. And using your own image generation tools or our drag and drop software, you can easily create or change label templates and send them to your shelf edges. The data is communicated over our secure wireless network, and as we use the sub-1 GHz frequency, there's no interference with existing 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi networks. All you need in store are communicators, like this one. They are easily installed with a bracket and can be powered over Ethernet, while each unit can cover 50,000 square feet and talk to 200,000 labels. If you've more stores or more shelves, you just add more of these. And the labels can talk back to our management console using the communicators to tell you their health status and confirm if updates have taken place as planned. Back at HQ, all your labels and communicators are easily controlled by software that's simple to use. What's more, we also offer a label with an integrated Bluetooth beacon, so you can easily create targeted, timely and engaging promos to people based on their location. This is one of those situations, a win-win situation. If you're in marketing, you're happy because you can easily align prices in-store, online and mobile, influence things in stores where 90% of purchases are still made, and more easily offer loyalty-enhancing promotions. If you're in ops, your staff will be freer to do what they do best, better serve your customers, while also improving replenishing and merchandising. If you're in IT, you can see this infrastructure is easy to deploy, use and manage, while offering a low total cost of ownership. And if you're a customer, you'll be happy to be rewarded, intrigued by these labels and pleased that you're getting the latest offers and the very best prices.
Okay, gave you an idea of what electronic shelf labels can do. They're pretty exciting.
Thanks, Mark. You know, one of the things which really excited us about display data is the technology, what's being used on the electronic shelf label itself, the hardware itself. We use the technology named as electrophoretic display technology. That's the latest technology patented by Display Data. It's one where if you have a label, just imagine a label on your shelf, and a consumer walking down the aisle, the pricing can be seen from 180-degree angles. So what that means is you won't see much reflections or glares or things like that, which I think Mark is going to cover in the next few slides, more details about it. But that technology really intrigued us to start looking into deeper. The labels come in white, black, silver, red, and yellow colors. You can display 4 different colors onto the labels itself. Another very intriguing thing which we found out about the ESLs, and we partnered with Display Data, was with the labels itself, the long battery life. It's these labels, believe it or not, they only use energy when the data is transmitted from the router or the communicator to them. When it's being transmitted to them, then only it uses the energy with the batteries it has in this. But when it's displayed, it's kind of an imprint. It gets imprinted over there, and that's static. So it gives a huge advantage of using these labels for a very long time. So just imagine, even if you might not have that use case, but imagine if you want to change your prices or flip the prices on the labels in the morning, or in the afternoon, and during the evening time, you can change it 3 times a day for 5 years. That's how long the batteries will last.
That's just amazing. And I looked into one ESL, and it was similar, the way I was reading it, to an iPhone, where you had to send the label to the factory. I could get this wrong, but that's how I read their website, to change the battery. Well, these don't. It uses a standard coin battery. You can buy rechargeable ones, or just use, as Madan said, it's going to last 5 years, that ESL. So, and it's just a standard coin battery you can buy off the shelf. We even have a program, when we get into pricing, we'll get you details on it. Well, you won't have to worry about batteries. We'll supply you with batteries as part of our service for you there. So let's talk about the different technologies that are used in ESLs. As far as I know, there's 3 of the different technologies that are used. Some of them are older, some of them are newer. They're all still used. The first one is the one on the far left, which is a segmented LCD. Segmented LCD is what's on a lot of older calculators and the really inexpensive newer calculators. There's, I don't know, 7 lines, and then a couple of them are broken up to make any number. So those are really limited. They actually use a lot of power. But anyway, as you see here, I have my price on the far left there, but I still have to put a sticky label on there with the description and the barcode for inventory purposes. So those are very limited. Sure, they're less expensive, but you get what you pay for. The viewing angle on these is not real good and very high power consumption. LCDs by nature use a lot of power, and you're always sucking power when it's showing something. The next, so maybe we'll call it a step up. It is a step up, I guess, is the LCD. Kohl's, if you've been in Kohl's, they use LCDs. And with LCDs, of course, you can have letters and you can have numbers. You can have barcodes on there with LCDs. And they don't read real well. I don't think you can do the 3D barcode that we'll talk about later. They do have a high power consumption, though. The LCD, the full LCD, uses more power than the segmented LCD. Well, the electrophoretic, I hope I'm saying that right, is the top of the line. That's the best technology for this. The advent of this technology is when you said, okay, our retailers need this. Same technology, if anyone there has a Kindle Paperwhite or looked at one, it's the exact same technology. When I first got mine, I opened it up. It wasn't on, but it had I thought it was still on because it had an image on there. Well, as Madan said, it's e-paper. You don't need power to display this information. You could take the battery out and it would still display this information. So very low power usage. Only time it's using any power at all is when you're flipping prices. And even flipping is called when you change what's on the display. We'll kind of see that a little bit later. So that's pretty cool. Here, kind of a visual of these the different technologies. That Kellogg's, if you can see that on the left-hand side over there, that is the LCD, like at Kohl's, and the light. There's a light up above there. It looks like a fluorescent light, and so it reflects there. If I was to turn, kind of tried to see that in that lower video, the one on the lower left. If you were to turn and not right in front of it, you won't see anything or you won't be able to read it. I myself was at Kohl's when these first came out, and I wondered, there's that big gray box there. And then I got in front of it. Oh, it shows the price. So you have to be not right in front of it, but you have to be pretty much right in front of it to see it. You don't have that problem with the electrophoretic. This Nike one, some things I really like about this Nike one is it shows that it's very clean looking. Very clean looking display. The white doesn't have this little gray of the $29.99 one. It has nice bright white background. The red that catches my eye. And this is something that I noticed and I thought about is they're able, if you look at that little chart there, what those are shoe sizes. You might not sell shoes, but you might have other things that are similar. Where if I wear a size 5 shoe, I don't even have to worry about checking with the guy that goes back to see if they have any size. Remember, this is talking to your point of sale. So it will update the label will update what you have in inventory. And that could be a real labor savings and also help you sell more product. I was at the shoe store the other day, I guess, I don't know, a year ago, and I wanted to try about 3 or 4 different shoes, and they were out of my size, so I finally just said, oh, forget it. Well, if I was just looking at the label, it wouldn't have that. So a little side note on that.
Great. Thanks, Mark. I think this is great. So far, team, we have covered over here the technologies being used, the in this hardware, how it works, the heart, the soul, and the mind, and some of the key benefits which Mark pointed out. Fantastic. So as a customer or as a retailer, as a store owner, now the questions that few obviously comes to my mind is what all different colors and sizes, the options, etc., do they come with? So back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Madan. Yeah, that's a good question. They come, as Madan had just explained earlier, as you come in black or paper white, yellow, black, or paper white, and red, black, or paper white. Those are the labels themselves. You can also get the frames in a variety. I think they're white and black. They call it gray on the frames. You can different color frames, and then the different color options for the labels themselves. They can be used for promotions. The red may be for sale, that type of thing. And here they have 2 different series. This is called the Chroma Series, which are their color labels. And as you see, there's a wide variety of sizes from 1.6 inches wide all the way up to 12.5 inches wide on those labels. Also, I had a concern when I first saw these is how do I put these on a pegboard? How do I put these on my dump bin? How do I put these on my shelf? How do I put those on my clothing rack or whatever? All you have to do is to email us a picture of where you want to put the label, and I can fairly much guarantee you that I can find you at least one way to display it. You have a huge selections of different holders for these labels. And then who's using these labels, you might ask? They're not as, how do I say, they're not currently as popular in America as they are in Europe. They're starting to make big inroads into America. Very common in Europe. I don't know why that is. I guess the chip, the EMV chip, didn't catch on in America. Europe was ahead of us. Not too sure why that is, but they are starting to be used in America. There's some of the big people that are using them, but they're also used by businesses of all size. That B&H photo that you see there, I believe they just have that one store. I'm not positive, but they are used by all sizes of businesses.
Yeah, so this is a good slide. I would just add on to Mark's comments. This is really catching on. We were at a show around 2 or 3 years back, and we were looking into different options out there, and a lot of retailers have adopted this technology. They're kind of looking into the technology. You can see Home Depot names, Sears, Amazon stores. The brick and mortar, they are launching it over there, launching it in Whole Foods. Walmart we have seen in in a couple of areas, some of the these kind of labels being used. So this technology is really catching on, and I think with our passion and the research behind these labels going on, we have found that they are one of the key pillars for future brick and mortar.
Yeah, thanks, Madan. We do have a lot of case studies. If you want a case study, we'd be happy to share them with you from different businesses that have adopted or are looking at this ESLs, electronic shelf labels. I was reading them and was really intrigued by this B&H photo. And maybe it's because I was looking for a new camera and I stumbled on their site. Really was impressed with their selection. The B&H people had some really big challenges that they had to them. They have a huge store in New York, on nearly 70,000 square feet. 5,000 people a day go through that store, but they had some real challenges, and especially because they have a strong online presence. At least that was one of the challenges, I should say. They had price mismatches in the store. I talked about before that tag shows one price, the register rings up the other. They had, I don't know if anyone here is considering having things online. Well, they had a price where the online price and the in-store price wasn't the same, and you can imagine how embarrassing that would be if that happened. And they had a problem doing quick promotions. They found on their website, if they wanted to have a flash sale on this Nikon 230X or whatever, they could do that on the web, but they couldn't do it so easily in the store. And with electronics, as with a lot of things, the cost, the prices changed often, and they weren't able to do that as often, as quickly as they could on the web. Well, they found when they deployed ESLs, that wasn't a problem. They were able to update the prices immediately, as quick as you can be. The prices online and the prices in the store are the same. Their staff was freed up to do what they want to do, sell product and keep things nice and clean, and they like the bright graphics on that. They ended up with 11,000, a little over 11,000 of these labels, which is a lot of labels, of course. One little technical side note is these use Wi-Fi to connect, and B&H's IT department was really hesitant to do it because a lot of their products use Wi-Fi, and they have free internet in their store, and a lot of their customers use Wi-Fi to access the information. But not a problem, because as the video said, if you remember there, they use sub 1 gigahertz communication. I think it's 900, megahertz, and so there's no problem there whatsoever.
Yeah, if you think about the normal Wi-Fi communication frequency, that's around 1.3 gigahertz in that range, and this was the intentional patented technology which Display Data is kind of going after and using that 900 megahertz of frequency to deliver the sensitive information, as I would say, for what the retailers are going to communicate to the labels, right? The pricing and all. So that's that concern was solved with that.
Yes, it was. So these are really exciting what you can do if you want to catch people's attention for a product. You want them to really stop and go, wow, what is about that? So we're going to see here how we're going to see this label flipping or changing to grab attention if you really want to stop people in their tracks. Have it because I was there, I could have it communicate there. So that was kind of cool. And here, one thing about this is it's lightning fast. The communication is lightning fast. Here we're going to see this where it'll change. These labels will flip or change really quickly. You can imagine how long it would take to change all these labels manually. But here we're going to see how quickly this can change. Well, thank you. That was kind of cool. Hope you saw what was happening there. Lots of different types of businesses are using electronic shelf labels. We're going to go through a small handful here. Grocery stores like them a lot because they can do quick markdowns. The bananas are getting ripe. You change the price in the point of sale on bananas, it's going to change on the shelf. But if you sell gloves and you have a mild winter, you want to mark down your gloves, changing the point of sale, it's going to change on the shelf.
You know, another point which I can see for grocery stores, which we kind of learned over time. Just imagine, you know, if you have a produce in your store or a grocery in your store, and you're like, okay, so I need to, well, you know, we have these bananas or milk, which is going to get expired in XYZ time frame, so maybe in around 12 hours. I don't have that labor, or I don't have that capacity of labor that I can go and change it 2 or 3 times, right? So gradual markdown. So let's say if you want to do every 3 hours, so let's say you're going to go from a $10 markdown to $7.50, and then to go to $5, and then go to like a final $3 markdown. You can do that with this within a couple of seconds or a minutes, or in a real scenario, maybe in 12 hours. Whereas if you think it from if you have to change it manually, more or less, a lot of stores go to one manual change. And so you don't capture that extra margin, which you can capture with these gradual markdowns.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And it also brought something to my mind. I have a really good customer, super nice guy, that has a kitchen store. And what he found is Tuesdays was his slowest days. It's his slowest day. So what he does is his coffee, bulk coffee, has almost no margin. He decided to have his coffee on sale, even though there's not much margin on it, on every Tuesday. So the point of sale system we sold him can have a scheduled sale. So every Tuesday, that coffee automatically sells for 10%, I think it is, less, whatever. Well, that's going to reflect on the label. So you can use this to have smart sales. So you're not going to be as likely to do that if you're using paper labels. They use a lot in liquor stores because of the variety and the price difference with liquor. Also, there's a lot of, how do you say, the vintage and this more, I don't want to call it technical, but a lot of people that drink wine want to detail, so you can put them on there. They're used in sporting goods stores and hardware stores. As I alluded to before, on the sporting goods stores or other clothing, you can have the sizes. On the electronics, any type of electronics, there's a lot of details that your customers want to know. It's not going to be as practical to have that on a paper label or as readable, but you can have that, as it shows quite clearly here, on an electronic shelf label. So the label itself is going to help sell the product and not just not simply just display the price. Pharmacies are starting to use them more and more for the same reason we talked about. Also, you'll see that they have what gluten-free, energy. You're able to put different information on here. Maybe there's this TV show and somehow this product relates to the TV show, or some other thing in pulp culture. I know I mentioned gluten-free, that is so big these days. So I could display that on the label. They're used in furniture here. It's a couple different uses. I never thought of furniture stores like them because they have their groupings they can do. Auto dealers like them, similar reasons auto dealers like them. And even buffets. I never really thought of buffets. I've seen when I was looking online, they use them for name badges. They'll use them in the back room for the stocking bins or whatever you want to call them. They'll use them all sorts of ways. But Don, we were somewhere, and think of the meeting room. What was going to go on in that meeting room that day was scheduled on that.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen that being used in different conference rooms and the meeting rooms. They have the schedule getting displayed on these labels and being used such a variety of application. But of course, going back to the main point, I think which Mark is driving towards retail. I think it is such an amazing impact that might come out of with this new technology coming into more live for the mainstream America. That's what I would say.
Oh, definitely. So now, just real quick, Ravu. You have your heart. No, that's not your heart. That's your mind, heart, and soul. The software, Communicator, and the labels. Communicator is an amazing piece of hardware. Shows some of the features. Won't bother reading them for you because I know you can all read. Look at that, 200,000 labels in 17.6 seconds. That's just absolutely incredible. Don't worry about your label running out of battery and then you not knowing about that, because the label itself will talk back to the battery saying, hey, I'm getting low on juice. So that's good. And so wrapping it up here, Madan, why don't you speak on the pricing on this?
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark. I think hope the previous few slides and the webinar has given you a lot more detail, comparatively speaking, what is electronic shelf labels and how they can help us as a store owner to make our business more efficient, to make our business more aligned with the future retail stores, how it's going to look like, and to make it agile, right? How can we make things agile? So here's to the big question which would be coming to our mind, that what's the pricing like? So the pricing, there are three major components, and the first component is the hardware cost. Obviously, the labels they range upon what type of labels to use. How many do you choose from? They range from $18 to $75. The second component to the pricing is the annual software cost. Again, depends upon the number of labels you select and the locations. Obviously, they are around $1 per label on an annual basis. And the third component is the setup cost. We suggest, if you're starting new, not to go with a POS integration in the very initial phase. Start with a small bunch and then go from there. And then I think you will realize the benefits. We have a lot of confidence in this over time, and especially with the display data backing, that you will realize the benefits. And I think at the point 3 or 4 or 6 months down the line, as you realize the benefits of it, you will be happy to do the POS integration, or if you have your own ID team, we will be happy to work with them and kind of get it going from there. But all in all, three major components. We have seen the ROI, the return on investment on this just thinking very, very conservatively, just thinking on the operational cost itself, not including the benefits of gradual markdowns, instant price changing, etc., we have seen it very conservatively ROI within 2 to 3 years. Actually, we've seen data a lot, also less than 1 year. But again, it depends on a very individual scenarios, and the use cases, and so on and so forth. Having all said that, work with your dedicated sales rep. If you don't have a dedicated sales rep, and if you're new to us, we'll assign you one, and we'll get you going with the more details around it. But we didn't want to leave a question on the table about how it all looks, how it all kind of wraps up.
Well, thanks, Madan. Appreciate that. So now we're going to have some questions and answers, questions, and then hopefully answers. We'll see what the
absolutely. So the questions have been coming, some of them my way, and keep sending more. One of the first questions I've gotten is, would we be able to update labels at our retail stores from our main office?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Yeah, you certainly can do that. If you have a main office, if you have a computer at home, you'd be able to either through your point of sale or directly, if you're not doing point of sale, you can do it from anywhere. Heck, you could do it from Bahama on the beach while you're sipping your pina colada if you wanted to. Doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're on the internet, you'd be able to update your prices on the ESLs or other information that you have on there.
Another question that has come is, are there more color choices?
Well, there's the black and white series that we didn't show you, and then there's the color series that has the white, black and paper white, yellow and paper white, and red and paper white, different colors of the bevels. Those are the current colors that they have. They're looking into others. I don't know the status of that. Most retailers have found those colors will do it.
Great, thanks, Mark. This is a good question. How many do you recommend starting with?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, the first time I mentioned this was a grocery store, and he wanted to start with 50,000 labels because he had 50,000 products. So that would just be overkill. We found that most people will start with maybe, as few as 10 and maybe as many as 50. A conservative number. As Madan said, maybe don't have it communicate with your point of sale at first. Just start with a very few labels and in your trouble spots. If you have pain points, I guess you would call them, if you have pain areas that for your signage, just start there. Keep it simple. It's not going to cost you any more money to start with a few and then add them as time goes on. You're not going to have a huge savings if you bought them all at one time. And quite frankly, if you did that, you probably wouldn't utilize them all to their full extent to start with. So yeah, just start with relative few, maybe 30, 50, 100, or fewer. I had one guy that started with 10 of them. Just whatever's going to work best for you.
Yeah, and I would add on to that. I would say think about a section of your store where you really want to start with, right? It can be a section where you want to highlight something. It can be a section where you want to kind of you have things going on where you're having gradual price markdowns, etc. So think about a particular section to pick up and a small section as pilot of it and start with there. And I think that'll be a better strategy. And we can work with you on those on that as well. Mark, I have a couple more coming in. What kind of fixtures and fittings can it go on?
Well, that's a really good question. I meant to cover that earlier. We have a lot of different ones. Just send us a picture of what you want there, where you want to put the label, and we have at least one or more different fixtures that will hold that label. So there's a lot of them.
Perfect. A few more we'll take in the interest of time. Okay, another one, Mark. Does the software have design capabilities?
Yes, you can use your own design. If you have a label designer that you want to use, you can use that on this. You can use your own, or the Dynamics Central software also has a label design software where you can just drag and drop, real simple. WYSIWYG, I think they used to call it.
Oh, nice, nice. Hey, this is a good one, Mark. What features can be added to these labels?
Oh, wow. A lot. Probably more than I know, that's for sure. But the one she talked about where you can have a Bluetooth beacon where the label will actually talk to your customers, you can have that feature. You can have it flash in front of your customer like you want to. Pretty much you tell me what you want, and we can see if it can be done. There's a lot of features. We'll go over some of the other features. We're getting low on time here. It's gone a little over an hour. We'll get some of the other features to you guys soon. And yeah, there's a lot.
Perfect. And so in interest of time, let's just move to the last section of the presentation. We're going to ask you very, very simple poll questions. How can we help you? How can we help you with this new technology? And we are eager to help you over here. You will see on the right-hand side of your screen simple poll questions that pop up. 4 simple yes and no questions. Just press yes or no depending upon what you need for us to help you with. So the first question is gonna be, would you like to know more about ESLs and get a sample? We'll give you a couple of seconds here to get you going. Okay. To the next question. Would you like us to present this solution to your team? Okay, a couple of seconds here for you guys to look into that and let us know. Okay, we'll move to the third question here. Are you ready? Are you ready to start a pilot project in your key store or in your key department? Okay, and last but not the least, would you like a quote on electronic shelf labels? Couple of seconds here. Just let us know. Alrighty. We're gonna end the poll. Thank you so much, everyone. We're very excited. Thank you again. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, team, for getting this going.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We will be sending out an email. Please, any questions that you have, if you want to see some labels, if you have any other